Hey everybody, great to see everyone here early, getting going. We've got quite a bit of information tonight to go through. Amazing how we start off thinking there's not much to talk about, and all of a sudden we don't have room to talk about some of the things we wanted to talk about. So just hang with us as we go through tonight. We're going to get ready next week for an expose of all the updates that have happened in the Gold Rocks website. The boys have done some amazing work there, prettied it up, made it easy to find your way around. So we're going to go through that next week. So here we are on a Gold Monday, 1st of June, or in the words of the email bandit, send out the link for tonight, the 1st of June. Just want to make sure you understand where we're at. The 1st of June 2020. Now, this is going to be a huge month for us because of what's happening in the world and in the world of carrot bars. Now, if you think there's any part of what's happening in the world that is not going to impact us, please think again. Have a look at the news about what's happening in America. Have a look at the news around us here in Australia. We are in an absolutely changing world. It is not what we knew just a few days ago, a few weeks ago. It's become an enormous elephant in the middle of the room all on its own. So we need to make sure that we're prepared for it. We need to make sure we've got the ability to deal with it. And the great thing is we have all the right tools at our fingertips, I suppose is a word to describe it. So make sure you understand all the things you can do with this business. If you have a kit, if you're a member, you have taken the right steps. If you're on the call tonight and you don't have a kit, you don't understand what's going on, reach out to your recommender, somebody in your active leadership line that can help you understand what's going on. I cannot stress enough. When you see what we're talking about tonight, you will want to be involved and do something because it's a lifeline. So let's get things underway. And before we start, I do want to just take a minute to talk about our American friends, Rico and his wife, Lacey. They've been on our webinar. We've been on their webinar. It's a great team. He's done a great job in the past for helping us discover the truth behind some of the news releases. And just make sure that you think about these people. They're in a world of hurt on the east coast of America, right exactly where these guys are. I hope they're all well. He was scheduled to be on tonight to talk to us, but he was unable to make it. I hope they're all right. So let's move on and get into this. Remember, we are not representing the company. We are independent affiliates. We express our opinion only. We talk about the things that we have discovered, how to create your own residual income. What I've done, all the other people that come on this webinar talk about what they have done, not what they've read about in a book. It's what they have done. It's one of our requirements. Now, remember, these are the 4 things that you need to hang on to going forward. Without these 4 things, you will be in a world of hurt because what's coming down the road at us is really ugly. Pay yourself first. Make sure you have that mindset. Establish a residual income. Again, make sure you have that mindset. Limit your tax exposure. That's just being smart. And staying ahead of inflation is without doubt, the simplest, safest, and easiest way to protect your money going forward. Now we're going to hear from Ms. Camilla as she explains to us the really simple overview of what this business does.
Hi there. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are in this beautiful world of ours. We, the team at Gold Rocks, are here to show you how to become a gold saver, which has far better return than traditional savings methods. Let us show you why you should get started today. When you begin saving, you typically have a goal in mind, whether it be buying a house, paying off debt, studying, starting a business, travel, or maybe retirement. We've always been told to work hard and save. The majority of us have only had the following options: maybe holding your cash in an envelope, a jar, or a piggy bank, opening a cash savings account to earn interest, or applying for a loan. But that means debt, and that's something none of us want to get into. Unfortunately, many people don't understand what saving your money by the traditional way actually means. Cash loses an average of 2% per year through inflation. That means if you saved $100 today, it would have the buying power of $90 in 5 years' time. So then what if you put it into a savings account? The average interest rate across the banking system in Australia and New Zealand is 1% per year. So that $100 would have the buying power of $95 in 5 years' time. A little bit better than the cash in an envelope, but you are definitely losing money. So question, what do they do that you don't do yet? The governments, the banks, and the wealthy. What do they do? Simple, they save gold. Robert Kiyosaki, who we all know as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant, says, gold is money. JP Morgan, one of the most powerful bankers of his era, whose company JP Morgan Chase still exists today, said gold is money. Everything else is credit. And Alan Greenspan, the former head of the Federal Reserve, arguably the most powerful financial institution in the world, says gold is always accepted. And they are just a few examples amongst many others. So why gold? Gold gains an average of 15 to 20% per year. So what if you put your $100 into gold? Well, in 5 years' time, it would be worth at least $175. Would you rather have $95 from your traditional savings account or $175 from your gold savings account? Next question, why choose our gold and why save with us? Our gold savings account is free to open and has no monthly fees. Our source is the global leader in small increment weights from 0.1 of a gram. And at the time of recording this, 0.1 of a gram was about $10 to $11 Australian. This makes gold accessible to all levels of income. No matter who you are, what you earn, you can now do what was once only available to those with wealth. And helping all people get ahead is something our team at Gold Rocks is passionate about. Our gold is 999.9 gold bullion purity. It has state-of-the-art security against counterfeiting, and our source provides free storage until you choose to have your gold delivered to you. Getting started is as easy as getting back to the person who shared this video with you, registering your free gold savings account, and starting to save your money in gold today. We encourage you to do your own research into all of the information we've shown you. And we look forward to helping you save your future in gold with the team at Gold Rocks. Be blessed.
Great little video, that, isn't it? We are so lucky to have this young lady on our team and to see her expand her business vision and her ability to influence people by just explaining to them the simplicity of what we've got. So tonight we're going to ask her recommender, Ms. McCloskey, to welcome Miss Camilla and have a chat with her. Are you there, Jan?
Hi, everyone. How are you? This is Jan. Can you hear me? Yes? Hope so. Okay. We've got Camilla
Yes,
here with me.
all good.
You can hear? Good. Thanks, Brent. So I am honoured to have this young lady on my team. I met Camilla probably about 2.5 years ago, and we just clicked. And we've been on a bit of a journey since then, but since last year, we've been on a really great journey. So I'm just going to ask her a couple of questions, and she's going to just fill you guys in on what she's done. And I just want to let you know that we are just normal, everyday Sheilas. She's a Kiwi.
Sheila's even.
And I'm a proud Aussie. So we have just bonded. We have a great time together. And I'm just going to ask her a few questions, and she's going to fill you in on what she's been doing. So Camilla, welcome.
Hello.
First of all, just give us a little bit of your story from where you are, where you were brought up, how many in your family, and to where you got to this time last year.
So yes, I'm from New Zealand originally, but have been in Australia for about 13 years now. I am from Auckland, a family of 7. There's 7 of us kids, and both my parents are quite entrepreneurial. They've both had their own different businesses, as well as grandparents. So business is something I've always been interested in. I've got 3 kids. One is soon to be 17, and the youngest is 10 months old. So there's a pretty big gap. We moved from New Zealand because things started going a bit downhill over there. So we moved to the land of gold here in Australia, and things, we did okay, but it was still just work. We never saw anything past our weekly paycheck, and then the last few years we really did step into taking a chance with running our own businesses, my partner and I. But that actually led to us not being able to pay our rent quite often, having to use food banks. And then my daughter came along. She's 3.5, and it got worse. I started a baking business to help with finances while I was home with Dayla, and it was still the same. So yeah, we came from, up until this time last year, we were still using food banks, needing help to pay for the roof over our heads, dodging our power being cut off, the whole 9 yards. My family, actually, as entrepreneurial as we are, my wider family have experienced homelessness, quite a few of them actually. There's a few of them that cannot fend for themselves, so live on benefits, things like that. So there's a bit of a culture of not having any hope, anything past getting through that week. But you kind of just keep hoping for something to happen, hey?
Yeah, you do.
And then Miss Jan came along and something happened.
So how did you happen to get into Carapace? It was a pretty exciting story, actually.
Well, everyone knows Jan was bullied by the man that runs these webinars of ours. Thank goodness he was a bully and just didn't even listen to her and registered her. And then once she got back from her trip, she said there's something new happening. So, and she pretty much said to me, it's gold, just do it. So it took me 2 months to come up to save enough to be able to buy my first business package. And I was pregnant at that time. Oh, actually, I was, pregnant, heavily pregnant. It was quite a hard pregnancy. So my head wasn't there. I was battling my body and lovely hormones and things like that, but still trying to get the bills paid. But Jan just wouldn't let me stop pushing and dreaming, and she knew I was someone that wanted more for my life. And thank goodness she has patience, because it took a lot of patience. So even after I registered, it still took me a couple of months to get a clue what was going on.
Yeah, she was just an amazing girl. I just knew that there was something in Camilla that she could take this on board. So it was worth just. I never harassed her, and I find that I just don't like harassing people. And she just did it in her own pace, but we did this journey together. And by the end of the year, she's going to tell you what happened by the end of the year. Now, this girl had only got her first pack, I think, in late September. And so by the end of the year, she's going to tell you what happened. And it was just amazing how this has changed the lives of this family. And the family who are coming on board with Camilla are just amazing people. So, yeah, so how did it change your lives?
So once I finally did get a clue and started working the business and seeing then like what we actually had in our hands, the first big change was I was getting paid. I didn't know much at all from the business, but you learn along the way. The cool thing is, like, this, you own your own business, right? But you are never alone. You've got awesome people around you. Gold Rocks literally has helped me get through so many barriers and knock down so many of my own mental walls. It's crazy, and I'm so grateful to be in amongst this team. It's awesome. The other cool thing is you get paid in euros, so that makes it even better. But you get paid in, like, I don't know, we were getting cash gold coming into our accounts. We were getting classic gold, being paid in classic gold as well. Sorry if you don't understand those terminologies, but you're getting paid in gold, you're getting paid in cash, and at that time we were getting paid in cryptocurrency as well. And earning money, and we were able to fly down to Melbourne to be a part of an event that happened down there. And I just, honestly, a couple of months before that, I never would have thought that would have even been possible. And I made bronze director by the end of the year. I have no idea how that happened. But thank goodness, like, you know, Derek, Ducky, Dan, and Jan, they say, you do this, And so I listen, and then these things happen. You've always got people guiding you. The other huge thing is you're actually learning things that matter, like financial literacy. I thought I was clever before this, but man, I did not know anything really about how the financial system works globally. I think that's one of the best things in this business is it's
Opens your eyes. So.
Yeah, it definitely opens your eyes.
Yep.
It's so worth it. We got to, like, our car, we had a car that was not in good condition at all, and it literally crapped itself and died. And because we had cryptocurrency, we could buy a car. Without even thinking about it, we just said, okay, let's cash out some of our crypto and buy a car. Like, seriously, where does this stuff come from? I don't know, man.
So they got a new car, but there wasn't any debt that went with it.
Yeah, no debt, freehold. It's awesome. And just the hope from it. And Jan and I, because this business makes you think way bigger than you did in the last couple of months. Jan and I actually made a trip to New Zealand in March, purely for business, purely to build the business, because you just know that you've got something good and you want to share it with as many people as possible. And because I'm from Kiwiland, I wanted to tell all the Kiwis. So Jan got to meet a handful of my family, all 4 different families.
Now I have a new family.
Yeah. And just to be able to do that is amazing in such a short span of time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That was really cool. So we started doing some get-togethers before the CV, and we used to meet here at Camilla's advice with a couple of her family, and we've sort of extended it. Tell me about the Zoom calls now that we do.
So because we couldn't meet up in person anymore, those meetings every Thursday were really important for the ones that I think it started with like 3 or 4 of us. But because we couldn't meet anymore in person, we were like, well, why don't we do it on Zoom? And it's allowed people in New Zealand to join in on our team calls. And it's because of that, it's helping so many others learn faster, have that camaraderie, being able to share with each other our experiences, but really get to be a part of other people's lives. And from where we started a couple of months ago, just seeing the level of confidence growing in each person and the hope growing in each person is really just beautiful to watch.
It's been great. So Camilla, tell me, we talked about our goals and dreams last Thursday on our Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
So what are yours? Just to finish up, what are your dreams and goals? What are you striving for?
Oh, there's a lot now.
They've increased it.
Yeah. But in regards to carrot bars and building a business, well, yeah, I know it's going to affect my business in a positive way. But the biggest vision I have for the gold saving is so I come from, I'm Māori, right? Kiwi native. But within our family, I think we literally have every Pacific nation within our family somehow, like Cook Islands, Tongan, Niue, and Fiji, and yeah. So my heart is to get carrot bars in front of all those nations, getting because they're small, and especially with what's coming in regards to hyperinflation, all of that stuff. If I can help at least just a couple people from each nation learn about saving in gold, you know that they're going to help someone else save in gold. And then the big one is to make those countries active countries on the Caribous list, which is a big feat, but I'm learning to dream big and aim high. And we're getting that gold video, we're getting that translated at the moment into Samoan and hopefully Tongan very shortly, and then Cook Island shortly after that. So any other nations, like, let's get it done. Let's help as many people as we can.
So if you have anybody from any of those specific nations on your list, you will soon be able to just give them the translated version for whatever nation they're from in the Pacific Islands. So we're working on it. We've got a great Samoan girl who's going to be coming on board shortly, and so we're pretty excited about it. But you know what? It's from little acorns that great big trees grow.
Definitely.
And this has just been an amazing journey with this family. And Camilla is just like one of my kids. So anyway, thanks, Camilla. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
And we just want to welcome all the new people on board and just go out and do it. Just go and talk to people. Catch ya.
Thanks, Miss Jan and Miss Camilla. That is an amazing story, isn't it? So let's just move right along. We want to talk about some really bad news tonight, but remember, we got gold, baby. Don't panic. So this guy, Greg Jericho, is a columnist who writes a lot, and he's still saying that we haven't reached the bottom of the unemployment curve yet. So more than 800,000 people unemployed in Australia, and it says 6.2% of the population. Well, guess what? When you calculate that out to actually an unemployment rate, it comes out to 19% of the employable people. 19%. That's pretty ugly. So how bad is the US? Well, let's have a look at that. During the Great Depression, GDP fell 30%. So how does that compare? Well, it caused the deaths of 2 million people who would otherwise have survived. And Goldman Sachs are saying that the GDP of the USA has already fallen 34%. Their economy is completely in the toilet. And if you look at what's happening in America today with the riots and National Guard called out in 11 states, it is ugly. And yes, it wasn't all about this, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I can't see it improving anytime soon over there. And if you look at this, there's the spike in unemployment claims, 40.8 million in 10 weeks. That's nearly twice the population of Australia, every person. That's an ugly number. So just understand that this is going to be an amazing recovery when we come out of it. We will come out of it, but we don't know where we're going in the meantime. So let's have a look at a couple of these other things. Scotiabank. They have one of the world's oldest gold trading desks in banks. It was the oldest business in the world, precious metals unit. And I have to say, when I heard that they were, in fact, in some serious trouble, I couldn't believe it. But they've been caught in a regulatory scrutiny. And one of their major traders has just last year pleaded guilty to manipulating gold prices. Now, I know some of you are going, what? How is that possible? Fixing the price of gold? Who would have thought? Yes, it has been going on for years. They manipulate the price of gold to cover their losses and to boost their profits. But the market beat them. They are at last view, they were 168 million US in the hole, and they haven't got to the bottom of it yet to work it out. So understand that when we talk about gold prices on our website, on the Carrot Bars website, we're talking about a real price of real gold. We're not talking about ETFs, and we've got a couple little videos that I'll get to tonight to talk even further about that. So why this is all happening is quite astounding. They've been caught, when you look at the graph, in what happened in the gold market, because there was not enough gold available to fulfill all the contracts. And it's because the virus, the Heineken flu, stopped supply. So what happens when you have an ETF, an electronically traded fund, whatever you want to call the document, that's the piece of paper that says there's 1 ton of gold and you've already sold it at a fixed price. When that contract falls due, you have to supply the gold. Well, guess what? They couldn't. There wasn't gold available. So lots of hoopla and ducking and weaving, but this is gold imports up to March, and you can see that Switzerland has possibly 4 of the major gold refineries in the world, and they are pouring gold into the US at the moment. And I mean pouring gold. It is astounding how much gold is going in there to cover what the banks have been doing. And we'll learn more about that in a moment. But what is really amazing, and I only discovered this today, even though I sort of was aware of it, the penny didn't drop. China and India, the 2 biggest gold markets in the world, their markets have been closed because of the virus. Now think about that. Last week and the couple of weeks before, I told you gold in Australian dollars is at a record high. Never been there before. And the 2 largest markets on the planet have been closed. What do you think is going to happen when that comes back on board? Let's have a look at this one.
I would say, of course, our balance sheet can't go to infinity. I would say that I'm comfortable with where we are now and the path that we're on, and don't see risks based on what we're doing right now to inflation or to financial stability.
Unprecedented unemployment update. 40.8 million U.S. citizens have officially lost their jobs over the last 2.5 months of time. Now, that's like 1/4 of the working population of the United States of America. What happens to this gold market when the East returns and there's not enough physical gold bullion to go around is a question to ponder. And you guessed it. You'd better get your bullion position now before prices begin their mania, and those supplies before they run away and hide. That's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourselves and those you love.
Now, that's an interesting viewpoint, because we're looking at the worst end of that. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is even worse. So I've been saying for a while, if you're trying to transfer money to buy gold, be careful what you tell your bank. Banks do not like you buying gold. They do not like you buying cryptocurrency. I made the mistake yesterday of doing 3 transactions on my card in one day. My card all of a sudden did not work for the 3rd transaction. I had to get a phone call from the trading platform, and I got grilled for about 5 minutes. What I was doing, who I was buying it for, etc., etc. So just pay attention, but you need to be aware, not afraid, because we got gold, baby, and we have the answer. Make sure that you understand that. Now have a listen to this one.
Another 3 million have been added to this swelling total of 36.5 million who've lost their jobs. Reportedly, 40% of those making less than $40,000 salaries have lost their employment over this foul crisis. Remember that the Federal Reserve blog glibly has this unemployment figure clearing 50 million by the end of next month, June 2020. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet is on the cusp of clearing 7 trillion, up now almost 3 trillion since we began giving you these numbers in middle November 2019 here at SD Bullion. How much longer until the next 3 trillion get dumped onto this balance sheet? It probably didn't help either that they, too, were under U.S. Department of Justice probings. It was recently reported that they handed over 800,000 documents surrounding the ongoing criminal investigation of J.P. Morgan's precious metals desk and commercial bank at large. News from this week, another massive gold derivative commercial bank suffered huge losses during the late March gold spot price fall and fast rebound. Apparently, HSBC lost anywhere from 200 to 300 million intraday in late March 2020 as some exchange for physical trades went wrong given the large price discrepancy between London and New York. Or perhaps they were just caught short as the price of gold rebounded quickly from $14.75 back to $16.50 in a matter of days. Both of these banks, HSBC and Scotiabank, are probably still sitting on uncovered precious metals derivative losses. And meanwhile, the price of gold and silver looks set to make major runs as early as next week. Matt Taibbi.
You're working on a story right now to come out in a couple of weeks on the HSBC settlement. That's
right.
Tell me about that, why it interests you.
Well, the HSBC settlement was a really shocking kind of new low in the history of the too big to fail issue. HSBC was a serial offender on the money laundering score. They had been twice given formal cease and desist orders by the government, one dating back as far as 2003, another one in 2010, for inadequately policing the accounts in their system. They laundered over $800 million for cartels in Colombia. Drug cartels in Colombia and Mexico. They laundered money for terrorist-connected banks in the Middle East, Russian gangsters. Literally, I talked to one prosecutor. It's like they broke basically every law in the book, and they did business with every kind of criminal you can possibly imagine. And they got a complete and total walk. I mean, they had to pay a fine.
$1.9 billion, a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's 5 weeks of revenue for the bank, to put that in perspective, and no individual had to suffer any consequences at all. There were no criminal charges, no individual fines, which was incredible.
Now, please explain to me, if this bank can be actually discovered laundering $800 million for drug cartels, why is it that these banks think they have the right to stop those of us that are helping someone to get some financial security? Why was my credit card transaction blocked? Why was Jan McCloskey's account closed? Why was Linda Jobson's transaction blocked? That's why, yes, as Jenny says, that's why we reject funds that appear dodgy. It's not the people that we know in the bank that are the problem. It's the management, the higher up management. And they're making decisions to try and make it look like they're actually combating all of these things. But all the investigation has done, the Royal Commission has given them more power to make it more difficult for us to do what we do on a daily basis. It's outrageous that they have that right, or they think they have the right to do that. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about banks. So, welcome to 2020, you tinfoil hat-wearing aficionados. Every week the economic news gets worse and worse, continues to do so, but don't panic, Jonesy, because we got gold, baby, and we're staying there. This is without doubt, the way to protect yourself in the coming problems. Here's what the gold price has done just recently. If you look at that 20-year yield in Australian dollars, that's a fair bit. It's absolutely a fair bit. And you need to understand that there is nothing else like that on the market. 37.69% annual return. 37. And if you put your money in a bank, you'll get less than 1%. And yeah, we've got some comments coming up there. Jenny said her team leader questioned her about her Gold Vision Facebook page. Somebody in the bank dobbed her in about her Facebook page. I know it is outrageous that they are doing everything in their power to hold on to their customers, because they know that if we get outside of the banking system with gold and cryptocurrency, they no longer can control us. So watch this space. This business is going to go on a rocket ship to the moon. And if you think that this slide that I used last week isn't real, look it up yourself. Go and do some Google searches on reserve currencies since 1450. It's just astounding when you understand how long they survive. As soon as they're disconnected from gold, that's what happens. Every currency in the world goes down to its original value, which is zero. Absolutely zero. And yes, Brent, it would be great to get everybody decentralized. So, a couple of sponsors for tonight. Loveday Vehicle Lubricants and Easy Shopping Cards. Jenny's been injecting Doug's hip with one of the versions of PM Lubricants, and apparently it's improving, and he's thinking about getting out on a racetrack in the next week or so. So, EasyShoppingCards.com, you get 2% gold back on your groceries. You need electronics, JB Hi-Fi. You do need a Carrot Pay account, because that's where the gold will be sent back into your Carrot Pay account. Just make sure that you understand all the implications of that. It's free gold. If you're just shopping at Woolies, it doesn't cost you any money to do this. You get gold every time you shop. So, Loveday Vehicle Lubricants, Carrot Pay account, pay with gold for your oil maybe. Talk to Dougie. Okay, let's talk about money. Let's just get through this. That's what's happening to our money year in, year out. Everything we do gets hit by inflation. $100 from 1999, you need $154 today to buy the same thing. That's a scary amount. Jenny's saying Loveday Vehicle Lubricants will accept gold payments and give 2% gold back. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I can swear by this oil. I've used it in vehicles for years and couldn't be happier. Had some amazing outcomes with the Mercedes and working a treat in the other vehicle as well. So this is what would happen. In 1920, if you had a kilo of gold, you could buy a top-of-the-line Ford. If you had a kilo of gold today, not only could you buy a top-of-the-line Ford SUV, you'd get a truckload of change. Gold maintains its buying power. So in the last 20 years, gold has approximately had a 10% year-on-year increase in buying power. Now you can average it out over 20 years, comes to about 12 or 15%, something like that, year-on-year. So in 2000, 31 grams or an ounce was $450, and today it's about $2,700. That's a 600% increase in Australian dollars. And your cash in the bank is losing 54% of its value in the same time. Now, if you think that's a great idea, you're on the wrong webinar, darling. You need to go and check out somebody else. Carrot bars, they are without doubt the world leader in small increments of gold. Make sure you understand that. If you want to buy $20 million worth of gold, we're probably not the company to come to. But if you're a normal person like I was, and you had to scratch up enough money to buy a gram of gold to start, this is the place for you to be, because this will get you the gold you pay for, and it will arrive. So what's next? Once you've got yourself organized, set up a free account. As a customer or an affiliate, it's free. But as a customer, you're going to pay full retail, and as an affiliate, you'll get a discount. And there's a couple of other things that you get with the affiliate account. Neither of those accounts cost you anything to set up. You'd be silly if you didn't become an affiliate. So let's have a look at some corporate news. The MasterCard orders have been temporarily disabled because we are switching to a new card this month. I'm going to spend just a minute or two talking about that in a moment. It's coming in the next couple of weeks. The original MasterCards will become dead in the water on the 17th of this month. So if you have money on your MasterCard, you need to get it off the MasterCard. You can go to them after the 17th and ask them to transfer it to a bank account, but I guarantee you there's going to be some serious fees in that, and it will take some time because they know that this card is coming to its end of life and we will have new cards. Now, when I get some information on these new cards, we will absolutely tell you exactly what to do with it, but understand if you have a MasterCard now, a prepaid Karatbars MasterCard, like a lot of us do, get the money off the card before the 17th. So make sure that you understand that and make sure you make that work. Now, Karat Pay. If you're on this call tonight, please check that you have a Karat Pay account. If you don't, get back with the person that connected you and make sure that they set you up a Karat Pay account, because in a couple of weeks, you're going to be able to use your coins to do things in Karat Pay that will be seriously exciting. And I mean seriously exciting. There are lots of things to think through, though. It's not a simple yes or no, I want to do this. You need to make sure that you set yourself up with a plan. Understand the implications of moving the coins into the wallet in Karat Pay or leaving them where they are. Now, I can't give you answers or projections at this point because I'm still waiting for that news to come through on how it's going to transfer. I know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're doing it or what the implications are. So you need to make sure that you understand that and be prepared for the swap. You will have the ability to put KBC at a fraction of a cent into Karat Pay at about the rate of 1 coin per Unival, something like that. Not sure yet. There's lots of webinars running around about what people think. It's 10 coins per Unival. Anyway, we will work out what that comes to. We'll work it out and we'll give you a heads up. We'll possibly do some hands-on things live. So as soon as we can, yes, Brent, we'll do some live transactions immediately. If it comes in and it's like a Tuesday, well, we'll do a special webinar so we can record it and show you what to do. So make sure you are aware of what's going on there. Now, the good old King Ludwig's, there are now 17 more seats because our glorious and illustrious Queensland Premier has changed the rules with restaurants. So we can get another 17 people in. The more people we get there, the cheaper it's going to be per head. I can guarantee you it will be an absolute riot. If you want to do the beer tasting experience, which Mr. McCloskey's already booked in for 3 beer tasting experiences before the lunch. We're having to go up there very early so we can get warmed up, get his lederhosen worked out and start singing German beer drinking songs. So it's 12th of June, 12 noon start, 17 seats. Please let Carolyn know by email or text if you are coming. If you need to book a seat. It will be a riot. We've been there a couple of times and I can tell you it's a riot, absolute riot. They are great people, a great couple, perfect people to have if you're running a restaurant. They are really amazing. It'll be a great afternoon. So that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there any questions, anything you'd like to ask? If you're not a member of the Gold Rocks site, please join tonight. The site is brilliant. Go on to goldrocks.me. Actually, if your recommender has a Gold Rocks website, make sure that you use their referral link for you to join the Gold Rocks website. Now, it's completely free. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just so that we know who's connected to who. So that if there's an issue, we need to get hold of somebody, we can give you a call or sort out your recommender, anything like that. So let's just remember to make sure that you get registered on that website. It's had an amazing outcome. We're seeing bonuses, people joining all over the place from the social media marketing, and yeah, it's been really good. Have you got a question, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, please. Can I speak?
Yep.
What Derek and myself have been working on is to really simplify the website and just give all our members. Brad, sorry, my apologies. We've been working basically almost 7 days a week to try and simplify the website down. And the new landing image we have on the website is probably one of the hottest images you'll see on a website ever. And I really encourage everyone to get on the website, have a look around. Brent spent, I think, 3 or 4 hours the other night before I went over there on Sunday, having a look, and he said, wow, I can get it. Brent is not intelligent when it comes to computers. Sorry, Brent. And he said he could get around the website so easy and find information. So I really encourage everyone in our team to please join the Gold Rocks Me website and refer it on to all your downliners.
Thanks, Greg. And thanks, Roger. And hello to Michelle and Mark Cameron from Adelaide. We feel sorry for you that you live in Adelaide, but we're jealous that you have the best red wine in Australia. Just thought I'd mention that. Did I mention red wine? I had the absolute misfortune of spending a couple of days with Mr. Seravalli, and he had me in a headlock, forced me to go up the Barossa Valley and drink lots and lots of red wine. And we had a fantastic day and a great time. We ended up at Enzo's and had a wonderful dinner there as well with some of our other members. But thanks, everybody, for joining us. Please, please understand what you have. Understand what you have. This is an amazing opportunity for you to change people's lives. This is life-changing. So thanks, everyone. We have Roger's just admitted that he's just finished his glass of red. And, yep, it's been an outstanding time. I cannot tell you again often enough, understand what we have our hands on. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a golden evening and enjoy the rest of the week. An absolute golden week. Have a great night.